Non-functional requirements can be a little bit confusing to new or soon-to-be business analysts because it sounds a little silly to have a requirement that's non-functional or doesn't do something. And the best way to kind of describe or understand a non-functional requirement is to kind of look at what a functional requirement is, which is what something does, and then the non-functional requirement is how it does it. Let's start with the easy non-IT example. So let's say your problem is you want a convenient way to drink water without having to be at the source all the time, like at the faucet. So you decide you need a cup, essentially. What does the cup need to be able to do, or what are the functional requirements? Well, first, it needs to be able to accept the water. It needs to be able to hold the water. It needs to be able to deposit the water in my mouth, and it should be able to stand up on its own. It would be interesting if I gave those exact requirements just like that to like 100 people and see how many different things other than just like a straight up cup people come up with. Maybe like a bottle or something like that. Those requirements are functionally what it needed to do, but those alone might not guarantee that it'll be exactly what you want or really need. For example, with those exact same requirements, somebody might develop a 500-pound barrel made out of something like lead. So sometimes you need additional requirements to ensure it actually works the way you want it to, and it doesn't kill you. So in this case, some non-functional requirements might be that it's not made out of a toxic material, that it's lighter than 2 pounds so I can carry it, that it's holdable by a hand, that it's shatterproof, maybe even that it's insulated so it stays colder or warmer for longer. I will say that those requirements aren't exactly perfectly measurable. For example, holdable by a hand is not a good requirement. You might want to say it should be a certain circumference, and shatterproof may not be a great requirement either. You might want to say it is able to withstand a certain amount of pressure or force or something like that. Something measurable, so that way when it's getting developed, there's not a lot of back and forth between you and the developers on what exactly it means to be holdable by a hand, because not everybody's hand is the exact same size. When you see a list of common non-functional requirements, they kind of exist to remind you of things to think of ahead of time, preferably before you start building the solution. And really for the sanity of everybody on the team, like I already mentioned, everything should be absolutely measurable in these requirements. Some common examples of non-functional requirements are performance, or how fast it should perform, whether we're talking about how fast somebody could get through the process, or page load times, scalability, meaning right now we have this much volume of users. If it doubles or triples, can we still use the same system? Availability, will it be available 24/7? Will it be down on the weekends? Reliability, an emergency system probably needs to be much more reliable than, say, like somebody's personal blog. Maintainability, or how much does it cost to keep it running? Serviceability, how easy is it to fix? How easy is it to replace parts, etc. Security, obviously how safe it is. Regulatory, does it comply with the laws? Environmental, meaning are we making the world a worse or better or not changing the world at all place? And usability, how easy is it to use? You can think of non-functional requirements as kind of aiming at the quality of the solution beyond what it just does. Sometimes quality is targeted at the end user, like performance requirements, availability requirements, and usability requirements. Sometimes it's kind of targeted at the people who own the systems, like maintainability and serviceability. And sometimes there are regulatory requirements, which generally exist to protect people in some way, whether it's personal information, financial stuff, environmental stuff, etc. I hope that helped you understand non-functional requirements. If you have any additional questions, let me know in the comments or through one of the mechanisms in my description, and I'll either answer you directly or I'll create a whole new video just like this one. So subscribe to see your questions get answered, and thanks for watching.